Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Brett and I'm the man behind the DIY Instagram account Made by Danger. Now today I am going to be using this Jeffrey Court mosaic tile to do a tile accent wall. But before I can get started on that project, I need to prep my walls for the tiling process. Now, the preparation of a wall is probably the least glamorous part of the tiling process, but it's absolutely crucial to ensure a successful completed tile installation. So whether you're looking to do a tile accent wall like I am today, or maybe something else like a kitchen or a bathroom backsplash, the preparation is going to be the same. So I'm going to cover some of the common things that you may come across when you're doing your own tile installation. So let's jump right into this. So there are 4 common things that you're going to need to address prior to a tile installation: cleaning the wall, repairing any drywall issues, covering any stains that are on the wall, and finally deglossing the existing paint if it needs it. Now this wall behind me, it's going to require all of that to get it ready, because on this side it's painted with a semi-gloss paint that's going to need to be deglossed. On this side I have a number of screw holes that need to be filled, some stains that need to be covered, and the entire wall needs a good cleaning because there's a lot of dirt and dust on it that I need to get off before I put up the tile adhesive. So that's where I'm going to start, is by cleaning the wall. Regardless of the condition of a wall, I always recommend to give it a good cleaning because dirt and dust is really hard to see at times, so it can be up there and you may not even know about it. So that's where we're going to start, is cleaning. And to do that, I just get a bucket of water, some mild soap, and I'm going to get to cleaning. All right, now that we got our wall clean, I just gotta let this thing dry, and then I can go to the next step. Now, if your walls are painted with a satin or a semi-gloss finish that are often found in bathrooms and kitchens, then you're going to need to degloss the wall. The reason you need to do that is because those sheens are fantastic for the paint's durability, but it's gonna prevent our tile adhesive from doing its job properly. Now, to degloss the wall, you really just need one tool: sandpaper. I like to use an 80 to a 100 grit sandpaper, and I'm just gonna give this wall a good sanding. I'm not trying to take the paint all the way off. I'm just trying to rough up that finish so the adhesive has something to bite into. Now once I'm done sanding, then I'm just gonna use a microfiber towel, really any towel, to get the loose dust and debris off the wall. And my walls have a number of water stains that I'm gonna address. You could have the similar situation, or maybe you have some food stains that you're gonna be dealing with. But regardless, you're gonna use the same product to cover all of this. And that is a stain blocking primer. With this, it's gonna cover the stain and block it from seeping through and preventing our tile adhesive from sticking to the wall properly. And applying this is really simple. I got a cheap paintbrush with some primer on it, and I'm just gonna paint right over the stain. And that's it. I don't care about how it looks because it's gonna get covered with tile anyway. All that I wanna do is just make sure that I get the entire stain covered by the primer. And now this brings us to drywall repair. Now with drywall repair, what we're gonna be talking about are some of the minor superficial damages that you're likely gonna encounter when you go to prep your walls for tile. Things like screw holes, or maybe nail holes. Or maybe you ripped a mirror off the wall and the glue residue kind of ripped some of the drywall off with it and created some superficial damage. So to address these, you can do yourself a favor and just pick up a drywall repair kit. These things are super convenient because it comes with a small can of spackling, a putty knife, and some sandpaper all in one. So it makes it really easy and convenient to address some of these superficial and minor fixes that you need to do to your walls prior to installing tile. So on my wall, you'll see there's a number of screw holes along with other imperfections that I'm gonna need to fill. So to do so, I just take some spackle and put it on my putty knife and simply smear it over the imperfections. So now they've turned white, which means these spots are dry and ready for me to use my sandpaper to sand down any high spots so that they're flush with the wall. All right, so now that I've got all these holes filled, I've got them sanded, there's gonna be a lot of extra dust from the sanding left on the wall, so I'm gonna use my towel just to get all that excess off. And the very last thing that we need to do is just put some primer on those patched holes. All right, and here it is, our completed, prepared wall. Now, does the wall look amazing? No, it doesn't look amazing, but that's not the point. The point is that it's prepared for this Jeffrey Court mosaic tile, which will make the wall look amazing. So I'm excited to get started on the next step of this project, which is installing the actual tile so that I can finally enjoy the finished product. Now at some point you're gonna need to cut your tiles to fit your space. And to do this, I personally like to use a wet saw with a blade that's suited for the tile material that I'm using. In this case, I'm using marble. Now these saws can be both purchased or rented. You could also use an angle grinder that has a small tile blade attached. The final option for cutting tile is to use a manual tile cutter, but I generally don't recommend these for small mosaic tiles. Another feature of mosaic tiles that's super helpful is that you can actually cut the mesh on the back with a utility blade to remove specific tiles to create a void. This makes it much easier to do your install around things like electrical boxes for both light fixtures, outlets, light switches, and other things like that. Alright, now that my wall is prepped and ready to go, it's time for tiling. Now I'm going to be using this Jeffrey Court mosaic tile, which means that I'm able to use a pre-mixed tile adhesive to lay the tile on the wall. With tile adhesive, I like to use my margin trowel to spread it out on the wall to start, then I come back with my notch trowel to spread it out. Make sure when you're doing this that all the grooves are going in the same direction. As for what size trowel and spacers to use, you'll find this listed for your tile in the product details listed by Jeffrey Court. Once you get going on this, it's just repeating the process over and over until you're done. Now my tile installation is complete, but because I have marble tile, I don't want it to get stained during the grouting process, so I'm going to use a 511 impregnator sealer to seal the tiles prior to grouting. And this product is really easy to use because it just rolls on, I wipe off the excess, and then just wait the recommended time frame before grouting. And finally for grouting, I first make the tiles damp with a wet sponge, then I apply the grout to the tile with a grout float and work it into the grout lines with the float being at a 45-degree angle and working it in diagonally. Then once that's completed, I clean off the excess with a damp sponge until the tile surface is clean of any excess grout. Now I'm using pre-mixed grout, which is great because it has a sealer built into it, but it also dries quickly, and once it's dry, it's nearly impossible to get off. So I work in very small 2 foot by 2 foot sections until I've got the wall finished. And here it is, the tile accent wall is done. Now I think this space just looks a million times better than it did before because of this tile that I chose to put up on the wall. So I'm really excited to get all the stuff put back in here and make this a functional space again. And because I did all the proper preparation to the walls before I did the tile installation, I can rest easy knowing that this tile is gonna be up here for many, many, many years to come. Now I really hope that you found some of the information in this video helpful when you go to tackle your next tile project. Have a great day, everyone.